Senator Rand Paul, Republican of Kentucky, came out swinging against Republican presidential candidate Nikki Haley Friday with the launch of a Never Nikki website. I have been watching the GOP primary closely for a while now, and I like various aspects of several candidates, Paul said in a statement included on the website, noting GOP hopefuls former President Trump, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, and entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy, as well as independent candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. As I look over the field, I don't think I yet have a first choice, but I do know one thing. Count me in as Never Nikki, Paul said. The launch comes a day after Paul teased a very important statement about 2024, stroking speculation that he would endorse one of the GOP contenders. The move also comes ahead of Monday's Iowa caucuses, the critical test that starts off the party's presidential nominating cycle. Trump leads the Republican field by double digits in national and swing state polling, while Haley is considered to be fighting for second place with DeSantis. She's seen notable momentum from her performance in the party's presidential debates and has been gaining on Trump in New Hampshire, which hosts its first in the nation primary later this month. The former president, though, boasts endorsements from 20 U.S. senators, including, according to the Hill's latest tally, while Haley and DeSantis don't have any from the upper chamber. Based on her record and campaign, I don't see how any thoughtful or informed libertarian or conservative should vote for Nikki Haley, Paul, a libertarian, said on X, the platform previously known as Twitter, alongside a thread of complaints against the former UN ambassador. And let me see what those complaints are, because I don't know, that's kind of weird to me. They don't mention, like I don't expect them to just go beat for beat with the, various, I guess, things that he would have laid out, but oh, okay. I'm now I clicked at it. I thought they had a thread where he was outlining what his problems with her were, but as far as I can tell, that's not the case. Um, it's not surprising to see Paul have a problem with her. He's known as like the anti-war Republican, right? The one that is just against all conflicts, pretty much ever. The non-interventionalist, and it's a position that is certainly much more in line with mine than Haley's. So I'm sure when he looks at her position in Ukraine or with the Israeli Palestine conflict, or excuse me, the Israeli Hamas conflict that's currently going on, uh, he probably does have nothing but misgivings about how effective she would be as commander in chief. But there's a part of me that I guess, and I hate to make this comparison, it looks like Trump is going to win the Republican caucus in Iowa on Monday. It's just my prediction. That's what I think will happen. I could be wrong. Maybe I am. Who knows? But what I think is so interesting is that I remember, in the 2016 race, there were these Republicans that were coming out and they were like, this person's not good, that person, and I'm noticing more and more that office holding Republicans are coming out against Haley. You had Noam and Green come out against her as Trump's VP pick, and now you have Paul saying that she's the only candidate that he would not support pretty much under any circumstance that's still in the race from the Republican side. And call me crazy, but this sort of feels like she's turning into what Trump was in 2016, where Trump didn't win Iowa that year. Cruz did, senator from Texas. And then Trump won New Hampshire. It looks like Haley is going to lose Iowa, which is useless in the Republican primary, and then might possibly win New Hampshire. And even before any of the primaries started, you had Republicans coming out and saying, Trump is too extreme. He's this, he's that, he's this thing, right? So Rand launching this site, I question how effective it's going to be. Like, it's going to go over really well with people who already have a problem with her. A lot of the Trump supporters that just want to see their guy nominated. But I'm really wondering how much of an impact it's going to have. And I do think there are some people, voters, who can like start to kind of look at Haley in a sympathetic manner where they're like, man, these people that are just kowtowing to Trump, they must really have a problem with some much younger, you know, she likes to bring up her gender, female trying to take his spot. I guess we can make them more upset with the so it's just weird to me that he favor like I get why he favors RFK Jr. because of the vaccine stuff, but you look at DeSantis and I'm not entirely sure of what the appeal of him would be to Rand. Like, but even if we go further beyond that, I don't see where Trump is really that appealing to Rand. Rand is the non-interventionalist foreign policy guy. Trump bombed Syria. He killed the Iranian general. Like, this is not some peace-loving, like, really the only country he advanced peace relations with was North Korea, and that was debatable because their final paperwork didn't go through. In Vietnam, they canceled on each other. So I don't I just I think he's angling for some power, and he's like betting that Trump is probably going to win the nomination, which he's not wrong. 30-point lead in Iowa. Um, but I think most of this has to do with just some careerism and trying to, like, he might actually have a problem with Haley's position. I don't dispute the sincerity of her not being his preferred person, but I do think targeting her specifically like this, I'm part of Never Nikki, is his attempt to try and downplay the momentum that she has going into Iowa and especially going into New Hampshire. Um, so that he can appear like helpful to Trump and then maybe get. I think he might be tired of being senator from Kentucky. He might want to be Secretary of State or something. Um, but then again, it's like he also threw a bone at Ramaswamy, who's it's just weird. It's weird. Like, I get that Ramaswamy was known for a bit to have some you know pro some like anti-war foreign policy positions, but he's kind of fading away. Like, he's really just depleting and depleting. And I know we're not supposed to gauge our support of who we like based off of their polling, but I don't see Rand endorsing someone that is at 6% or in fourth place, or even if he came out with DeSantis, I'm like 90 something percent sure DeSantis is gonna lose Iowa. He might not even come in second place. Probably won't even come in second place, and then he'll drop out after coming like a distant third or fourth in New Hampshire. That's my prediction. So I don't think that Rand. What I'm getting at is, yeah, Rand mentions four people that he likes, but the only one of those who has a realistic chance of winning a primary or becoming president again is Trump. So the other people he's kind of like giving a "I see you, it's not your time, hi" to, while he's like trying to appear neutral and specifically have a problem with Haley in particular, the only other person besides Trump that's seeing any kind of momentum or rise whatsoever. Um, and again, I'm the last person that would sit here and defend Haley, especially her foreign policy views, because there was a time when she was governor, and I only knew her as the person that got rid of the Confederate flag at the Capitol. Where I was like, oh, it sounds like someone that has like a little bit of a morality. But between the constant bootlicking for Israel and Ukraine and referring to uh, transgender people as I don't even want to say the word. It's like those things coupled with being incapable of citing slavery as the cause of the Civil War. It's she has many hiccups and problems that would preclude me from having any type of enthusiastic support for her in the slightest. Rand, when he ran for president, when Rand ran for president in 2016, I agreed with his foreign policy positions a lot. He wasn't as I think as interesting as his dad, but he certainly is someone who, if it was him versus Hillary, I probably would support, because he also opposes the war on drugs, which I'm not a fan of either. Um, so his views, I would say, are more in line with mine than Haley's, but at the same time, he's I feel like he's betraying his views because one of the people that he lists as being better than her is someone who we really can't trust the positions of because they're all over the place. Trump's foreign policy positions have no underlying philosophy. America First is just nebulous crap. There are multiple countries that he either continued Obama's exact policy in, or exacerbated conflicts with, like Iran ripping up the Iran nuclear deal. So I'm really, the only thing that makes sense out of this is Rand is hoping that Haley doesn't do that great in Iowa and then loses New Hampshire, and then he can like ride the Trump train and at the same time kind of like appear to be nice towards these other people that he knows has no chance of winning either. That's my the only thing that makes sense with doing this site. Um, it's sad too because if he was being like a neutral arbiter, he would make like a if doing like if you did like a Never Trump site as a Republican senator, it's career suicide. But it would be so fascinating to see him say, I want to end the war on drugs. Trump didn't do this. He said he would do that. I would love that. Just if he was just so impartial and just went after everyone for saying one thing, doing the other. All these campaign promises that don't pan out.